Hi there, I'll be presenting Cofoja, which is a design by contract framework for Java. So, design by contract allows the writer of a library to specify contracts with the user of that library in the form of preconditions, postconditions, and invariants. A precondition is a statement that must be true before a method can be ran. A postcondition is a statement that is true after the method is ran. An invariant is always true for an object, and it's checked before a method is ran and after that method is ran. So an example of design by contract would be, say we wanted to make a list with an add method, and you can insert an element into that list at a given index. An example of a precondition would be that the index is always valid. So the index is always between 0 and the size. And an example of a postcondition for that add method would be that after adding the element, it should be retrievable from the get method using the index you inserted it into. So that's how you can perform design by contract without a framework. But using Cofoja, you can use Java's annotations for a little extra power. So if you're going to use Cofoja's require statement, you can require that the index is always valid, and you can use the ensures, which is for post conditions, to make sure the element is always in the right spot in the list. If a precondition is ever violated, say the list is currently empty and you try to add at an invalid index, it will throw an error telling you, hey, the index needs to be less than or equal to the size. If you violated a post condition instead, say you're using it correctly, but the implementer of the library messed up, it'll tell you, hey, there's a post condition error, and I'm not able to actually retrieve that element from the list. So Cofoja also lets us define invariants, which are statements that are ran before and after each method. So say we wanted to create a set which always contained unique elements, we could write our own little helper function to make sure it's got unique elements, and then we could provide an invariant to the class so that it's ran before and after each method, and we'll know if it's true. So say we're writing a test for it, adding two cats into here, and if the set was created correctly, there'd only be one cat because the set should only have one element for it. But if it has two cats inside of it, then the invariant error would be thrown, but hey, it should always have unique elements and tell you where the error occurred at. So now let's discuss the benefits of Cofoja over Java's built-in assertions. Cofoja has two huge benefits. One of them is that it lets you separate the application logic from the contract logic. So the contracts would always be on top and the application would be inside of the method. So nice separation of concerns there. But the bigger benefit is the contract is actually included inside the Java doc. So I generated the Java doc for the add method, and as you can see, the requires and ensure statements are actually included inside of the Java doc. This means that if you're actually going to do design by contract, you don't have to maintain the same information inside of the Java doc and inside of the body of the method and hope that anytime you change one, the other one's going to be updated, which is just annoying from the maintenance perspective and leads to errors. So some of the benefits of design by contract in general is that it gives you defect localization, which means that anytime an error is caught, it will be specific to a single method, which really makes it easier to debug issues. And it also helps determine the cause of the error if it was caused by the user violating a precondition or the writer of the library messing up on the postcondition. The downside of design by contract is that it doesn't have great native language support, though Clojure and Perl 6 have some native language support. And the Cofoja license in particular is GPL v3, so you most likely won't be able to use it commercially.